Oh,
I like okay.
you gotta apply
So
for the position.
let's okay. Let's say me and you doing this Dungeons and Dragons table talk. Is that what it's
Okay.
called? Dungeons and Dragons table talk.
Oh my god, I quit.
I'll accept that.
Okay. So I'm new to this, so you set the stage because it sounds fun.
I'm scared. I'm scared. Man, I swear to God, man. I swear to God.
Find yourself in a desert.
Y'all gotta stop, man. I gotta hear.
Man, she said go hear y'all. I swear to God.
Mute y'all shit, man. Y'all being distracted. I can't hear. I'm getting in tune.
You see bright lights off in the distance. Roll a perception check. You have to roll a die now. Give me a number between 1 and 20.
18.
You see that the lights are of a strip.
Welcome to JOR-EL's World. You know what I mean? I'm the executive producer of this. I got my, you know what I mean? JOR-EL's finally here. He's finally got a podcast after he did 120 podcasts. How you doing, sir?
I'm blessed, and yourself?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. Let's get to it, man. Let me get you.
This is JOR-EL's World, and how I came up with that concept.
Go ahead.
Thank you. This is JOR-EL's World. I finally got my podcast together, thanks to my man Rod and his company. What JOR-EL's World is all about is my world. We all have our individual lives, which is our world. So when people meet together, the worlds come together for however long they come together. Sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. So in JOR-EL's world, we're going to talk about real life issues, politics, family issues, mental health, single motherhood, single fatherhood, marriage, things of that nature, things of substance that's going to hold people's attention and make them think. And hopefully they can, people can get something out of it. There's going to be entertainment things. We're going to talk sports here and there. It's just going to be a whole bunch of different things going on as I share my world with everybody else. So, I'm come from a little bit about my background. I did for 13 years and 13 years and 10 months in prison. I've been out 10 years. So, I made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot of lessons. So all that I have experienced as the elder of a village, which I hope I can be part of all of y'all's village, I'm supposed to give y'all lessons and help y'all do whatever it is y'all going through by giving y'all mental tools that I use to get me out of depression and, suicide thoughts and things of that nature. So welcome to JOR-EL's World. Thank you for tuning in. Good AM. And let's get it.
You know what I mean? So let's get into the first topic. What is the first topic, man?
There's a war brewing up. They're talking about a war between China and Russia that's supposed to be coming together and making this gigantic superpower, and they're going up against the United States. So the United States is getting mentally and financially prepared for, either to fix the situation or to go to war. And what the situation is all about is China and Russia have come together with other countries to damage the dollar, to drop the value of the dollar bill, right? The number one currency in the world. So from my understanding and what I've come to learn is that certain currencies dominate the world, right? Like the dollar, it dominates the world.
Mm-hmm.
Before the dollar, the dollar took over from the pound? Ain't that what they call it over in Europe, the pound?
Yeah.
Yeah, took over the pound in 1845. So from 1845 to now, the dollar has been where it's been at. So it's like, you know what, y'all had y'all's run. We don't like y'all anyway. So look, man, it's time to change it over. How's that going to affect us? It's going to be, you're going to start seeing a lot of prices being raised. and interest rates are going to be high, and it's just going to affect us that way with the economy that we're, unless they can get it all together and come to some type of reasonable understanding where it's not going to have to go to all that. But I don't see that happening. It's going to go down sometime, some way. They're going to set it off. They're just using that as a reason. So what they're talking about doing is having everybody go digital currency. That's one of the solutions. Have everybody go digital currency, but they have, I can't remember what the name of they're calling it. Facts. It started with F. Anyways, they have a word for it where the government will have control over everything you spend. They will know how much you spend, how much you make, how much, they'll have control over every, spendings. And if you can't, if you don't oversee your limit, this is just people talking. A lot of people, they're talking the same type of talk. If they feel that if you want to go on a trip, but your funds ain't going to be able to be there because they didn't held it for whatever reasons. Mm-hmm. So in other words, that'll be giving them a way to control our money. Mm-hmm. So, they're saying that the only way we can do is going to take a while for that to happen, but it's very possible. And if it doesn't die down because it's all fresh, then the war, they're going to have a war. And the United States going to have a war to keep that position because there's no compromising, or they can't take it and twist it into their own favor for it to work for themselves. Like for Corona, as an example, Corona got out of hand, or however way it came, they took it and they used it to, do what they wanted to do with the situation and how they controlled us. So, that's something that people should just keep on the back burner. And one of the type of things that I'll be talking about, just to keep people up on tabs on on important things that, something that's worth talking and looking into.
All right, let me play this video. Let me get the share screen. And let me play it.
Chairman Calvert, I'd like to thank the witnesses for appearing before us today. Every year, senior defense officials testify that the world is the most dangerous it has ever been. Unfortunately, that trend continues today.
This is a strategy-driven budget, and one driven by the seriousness of our strategic competition with the People's Republic of China. This budget will help us continue to implement our 2022 National Defense Strategy and the President's National Security Strategy.
In order to protect the American people, readiness now and readiness in the future through modernization is our number one priority, and there is no other number one. Right now, the international system is under stress. For the first time in our nation's history, the United States is facing two major nuclear powers whose vital national security interests are in competition with the United States. Both the People's Republic of China and Russia have the means to threaten our interests and our way of life. But war with Russia or China is neither inevitable nor imminent. This budget sustains our current readiness and adapts the joint force to the future warfighting requirements. This is a matter of significant national security importance. We must act with clear-eyed urgency. By doing so, no adversary should ever underestimate the resolve of our nation and the strength of our military. Preparation for war and deterring war is extraordinarily expensive, but it's not as expensive as fighting a war. And this budget prevents war and prepares us to fight it if necessary.
If you're serious about your podcast, stop recording.
Right. So China and Russia has always had beef with the United States. So they're bound to clash. When you got bullies in the world, they're bound to meet up and challenge each other. You know what I'm saying? It's just the law of nature.
Yeah, man. I don't think it's gonna go that far. I don't think it's gonna go that far for a war, but you know what I mean, because we got too much allies, and China and Russia. China got the manpower, but Russia don't got the manpower.
Here's the thing, right? Let's keep it 100. Who's the biggest bully on this planet?
We are.
They know we. They are.
Yeah, we don't be American. We are Americans.
I know you don't stand with the the way the United States is formed. I know you don't stand.
But we're considered American though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but real recognize real, and motherfuckers know what the deal is once they find out. It ain't hard to find out, separate the, Americans, the patriotic Americans from those who just live here. There's a big difference. If we had a chance, to get up out of here, like they did the Somalians. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, so like they did the Somalians, they bought 80,000 of them over here, and they keep bringing them over here. Yeah, and they taking care of them, they living good and shit. If we didn't have that opportunity to go somewhere else, you think we wouldn't go?
We already tried
As
it.
as people, as us,
We
yeah,
already
we go.
tried it.
Right.
We already
So
tried it with Marcus Garvey, but everybody shut it down.
exactly. But now that was then, but this is now. That's what I call the Old Testaments. Back in the Old Testaments, their thinking was real, easily manipulated. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not a part of that. We ain't, as they say, we are not our ancestors. Nothing close to them. When it comes to that. But yeah, it's something to think about. It's table talk, and it does. And if any of that has any type of truth, whether it's war or the finance part of the game, the civilians are going to be affected. So, people need to just be mentally prepared for it, because all these questions, what's going on with the gas prices and this, that, and other. Yeah, there's things going on behind the works that don't nobody know about until it happens. So you can do your research, because information get linked and all this other shit. You can put it all together and see what the fuck what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But on to the next one. There's a problem that I see in our community, and it's a concerning one to me. Being a single father, I'm not single, but I take care of my daughter. She lives with me, and I'm the provider of her number one asset. With that being said, I got to experience over 6.5 years the same thing a lot of these mothers are experiencing. But what makes my situation different from the average man that is going through the same, raising a child, doing most of the raising, and as far as the child, taking care of his child, it's more common for a man to raise his son, than a man raising his daughter. So I'm on this opposite side of the spectrum for women that are raising their sons by themselves. Now, I've always heard, and mind you, I've been out 10 years and been woke for like 6. After the freedom of the feeling of being free and all that wore off, I start waking up and really started adulting, 2017. So once that happened, I started seeing things and relating with other human beings that were in the same boat. And I was relating with them because being a barber, I've seen a lot of it. I see it every month, not every day, but at least every month or 3 times a month, 4, 5, 6. Anyways, I see it a lot for it to be confirmation for what it is. And what it is these women are being made to raise these men. They're being made to raise these men, because these young men, their sons, because of the situation, whether it's the man not wanting to be a dad, because any man that has any male, and we're going to say, I have a separation between men, niggas, males, and men, females, and women. I separate because it's not the same, right? Just because I have a child, that don't mean that automatically makes me a father. That don't make me a dad, unless I get into the trenches with this child and I earn that title. So these women are raising males, young males, and they're being responsible for putting it to make them into men. And a lot of them don't know how to do that for whatever reason, various reasons. One could be they never had a man in their life. So how are you gonna know how to make a man, mold a child into a man when you ain't never had no examples, in your life? You've had nothing but fuck niggas in your life. So you got basing your shit off of the experiences of. That's why you see, little kids already having resemblance of fuck niggas at a young age, because their mom's not putting nothing in them and the dad's not around. Now, whether it's the men not stepping up to the plate to be dads, that's a big problem. That's a huge problem, but that's another topic. We ain't on that type of time. Or it's the women, or it's the system that was designed to make that possible for women to have to raise the men, right? So either way it goes, it is what it is. It's been like that. And the only thing you can do is just get over it and step it up and find ways to help you mold this child. Because the biggest problem that I see is, you got two types of, I always say you got two types of whatever, men, women, whatever the case may be, but you got two types of young men that are not good types. You got the man child and you got the mama's boy. Now, I ask people what's the difference, and I always have to break it down, so I'm just gonna cut to the chase. A man child is a grown man, let's say 24 in his 20s, got responsibilities of a man and all that other stuff, but he still has the mentality of a child. He likes playing video games, and he's not responsible.
Hold on. It's nothing wrong playing no video games, man.
No, all day. That's all they like, really deep into it. Like there's levels to it. You was not supposed to be at 20 in your 20s at the same level that you was at when you were 12 when it came to video games. Like have that interest. Like, you know what, you instead of playing a video game, you should be out in the world trying to find a job.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? As manly responsibilities that you're supposed to have. But instead, you caught up in comic books and things that you're supposed to kind of like let go or get control over when you were younger. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, man child who don't have no responsibility, but he's a grown man, but he's still thinking like a child. What the Bible say? As a man, as a child, I play with childish things, but as a man, I put away those childish things. That type of time. And then there's what was it? Mama's boy. And I speak off of my experiences. And I had somebody staying here with me, and she was like 28, 29, and she dated somebody like, I think he was like, they were about the same age, close to 30. Stayed with his mom. I think he was younger. Matter of fact, yeah, he was younger, like 25 or something like that. Stayed with his mom, and she controlled everything. And when they have issues and fights, he'll run to his mom and tell his mom, and his mom will cuddle him and be on his side, even though he's wrong. You know what I'm saying? A mama's boy is that person who ain't that child that ain't detached himself from the nipple. And always running to mom, and mom's all in the business, and you know what I'm saying? That's a mama's boy. So they're creating those types instead of creating men, because kids are clay. And what we install in them, you gotta, how I look at it is you gotta plant seeds, because you can tell a person and try to tell them you don't do that and do the right thing all damn day, and they still gonna do what the fuck they want to do. But you gotta plant seeds and hope and if the soil is right in a human being, the seed will grow as time goes. How long it takes, that depends on how good the soil takes the seed, because a lot of soil won't take seed, and the seed will just sit there. It might sit there for 10 years, and then all of a sudden it start growing. Some slower, some humans are more advanced than others, and that's just how it is by design. But a lot of parents' issues, from what I see, is that they don't put pressure on these kids. Now, me being a barber, I have a thing, because I just got tired of it. Mothers, especially Samoan African mothers, they don't like how the new hairstyles is. So they want to dictate and tell them they want a clean cut. A good clean cut, and the boys don't want that. So it's always a conflict of interest between that, to the point where one Samoan mother, he was so mad because he had two other brothers. They got the cut that they want, he got the cut that he didn't want, and he threw a fit, and she gave him $100 just to shut the fuck up. Right? It's that they pacify him so much, right? And kids ain't stupid, especially nowadays. They pick up on shit and they just start trying. Once they see weakness, it's a wrap. And a lot of these kids are seeing the weakness in their mothers and seeing how easy it is to manipulate them. And mothers is just like, I love my child. No, you're doing it wrong. But I have a thing where if you're 12 years or older, I'm not listening to your mom, and I will respectfully ask her, let him be a man. Because they're dictating and not letting that child have its own mind, its own creativity. A child at that age of 12 to 14 to 15, they're finding themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're going through puberty, and they're finding themselves. They like this style. They try to find their look. That's not me. That was me last year. I'm changing it. I like this. You know what I'm saying? So allow them to create themselves. A body, I was explaining to somebody, this ain't nothing but an avatar. Just like and we change our avatars from here to there. Nobody keeps the same avatar. We change it because we evolve until we fit something that feels good, and then we go from there. So, I tell them, allow these boys to be boys, and because if you don't, they're going to get so used to you doing everything that you're handicapping them, and they're going to depend on you, and they're going to be a fucking 35-year-old living in the goddamn basement, talking about, okay, mom, I'm on a video game. I'll get my sandwich later. Like, you got motherfuckers like that, and you don't want that in your child, depending on you. So we have to mold them and install things in them. I'm speaking like this type of energy because I got my daughter, and you know what I'm saying, I had her, and I saw what my thing is. What I was blessed with was I was surrounded by women, ladies, carry themselves in the church. You know how them sisters come into church back in the 90s and 80s? Oh, they come looking real good, and they carry themselves as ladies. So I had an idea on how a lady is supposed to act. So I take what I know and install it in my daughter. And then dealing with a whole bunch of different females, I'm seeing things that I don't like in them and explaining to her that that's not what you do. That's not cool. You know what I'm saying? So I'm molding her into, you know what I'm saying? So if I can do it, what makes me think that a woman can't do it to a man? Because kids are clay. If you can't do it and you don't know, you should, like, there's things about my daughter that I don't know. And I've been real with myself with that. And I know and I love my child so much, and I'm going to give her everything that I possibly can give her. So what I do, I go out there and handpick certain women who I respect and show me, you know what I'm saying, a nice image for my daughter to look up to. And I ask them questions that I don't know the answer to when it pertains to my child. So in other words, I have good people, good women in my village. There's no excuse. It's no excuse outside of, period. There's just no excuse, none whatsoever. So when I speak about pressure is, and I can only speak for example, I always wanted money. That's the number one thing. A man got to put pressure on himself to not be a broke nigga. For me, a man should not, let me tell it, a man should not sit right in his spirit if he ain't got no money or no ways of getting money or making something happen or got no income. If he's just a broke nigga, man, I can't, that gives me nausea. I get nauseated when I feel like that. I feel less than a man. Hey, I was with one girl when I first came home, and I got with a fuck nigga who didn't take me nowhere, and I got laid off, didn't go straight in the barbering, and then I end up, like, my lessons is lessons to others, and then end up being jobless, like from Valentine's Day to all the way to April. And she was a culinary arts, so she worked in the cafeteria, and then she had her hair, she was a hairstylist, so she was in the shop. She got 2 jobs and being a mom and all this other stuff, and here I am, I ain't got shit. But I felt bad when she came home. It's like, did you eat? Because she came home late. She like, did you? I'm like, no. Nah, I said, yeah, I ate. I ain't eat a goddamn thing but a bag of Doritos. I ain't eat nothing. It was just that pride, like, you've been out here and you went out there and you got the bacon and came home and cooked it. I'm not man enough to sit and eat with you because I ain't bringing that to the table. That's the pride that I had. And that's the pride that most motherfuckers, I know you got that type of pride. You just ain't gonna sit and feel like a man and kick your feet up and act like you did everything when you ain't did shit but sit at home while your woman went out. That can't sit right with a man. If that sits right with a man, you're not a man. At least to me and anybody with some real ass common sense that don't understand this shit, you're not a man to us. But pressure is, for me, I put pressure on myself. I went out and I put a lemonade stand. I had a lemonade stand before I got all my toys and old toys that I didn't play with, and I set it up on the corner of Winding Hills and Hill Creek, and I sold my toys. I went and got, cut grass for money and all this other extra stuff to get money. And then when I got an age, my mom sent me and got me a job. And from there on, she taught me. My first check, I had about $70-something, and because I worked a short week. I go across the street to a place called shopping center called Northern Lights, go to KC Men Clothing, and I bought a Chicago Bulls outfit for a family cookout that we was having during the summer. Come home, my mom was like, where's your check? I was like, I spent it on this. Oh, proud that I purchased my first, you know what I'm saying? She was like, yeah, don't even worry about that. I got your dumb ass. We ain't gonna have this problem. So what she said, what she designed was I was to cash my check and give her the pay stub and the cash. She'll put it in an envelope, write how much on there, put it in a drawer. And if I needed money, I'd go to her and ask her. She'll let me go get it. And whatever money I took out of that envelope, I'll write it down, deduct it, and write the new balance down. So she taught me how to, balance my books. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I've been doing it ever since. I put the information in my phone. Every time I go to work, I put my money that I walk into the shop with in my left hand pocket and whatever I make in my right. So therefore, I can know how much I made for the day. So I can go back 5 years and tell you what I made this day 5 years ago. So, she installed that. And I had a male figure. Just because you got a man in the house, no disrespect to nobody, but I'm just telling how it is. Don't take it personal. I do throw rocks at piles of dogs, and if that rock hits you, that ain't got nothing to do with me. You need to get your shit together because it is what it is. So just because you have a male in the house don't mean you have a, you know what I'm saying? Just because you got a father in the house don't mean you got a dad in the house. A dad gonna do certain things that, you get what I'm saying? And I had that in my life, and what I learned off of that was what not to do. You can learn a lot if you pay attention to those. If we stand there and your son is with you and you waiting across the street and some dumbass just go take off across the street and get hit by a car, that's a lesson right there. You tell that's what you don't do. This is what you do. You wait and you be patient. You're teaching them patience and what not to do. So you can learn a lot if you're observant to other people's fuck ups and can't other fuck ups can't get rights and in the ways. So, women need to just back at the ranch, which is something I always say, coming back to what I was saying, women need to realize what the deal is, tighten up, because it's up to you. Y'all the key. For me, women are the key because these niggas ain't stepping up, and there's not enough of those that are stepping up and trying to, do their role. It's just not enough. It's just not enough of us. We got our own shit to worry about, let alone someone else. You got to have your home front together before you go out in the world and try to fix the world. So them are a couple things those are the type of things that I'll be talking about. I'm going to have my moments where I'm just talking like this, and, hopefully people will chime in and I can answer questions or respond to, comments. And hopefully one day, we'll have a call in, and it's just every week I want to try to make it different than the last week and more better. So thank you for coming into JOR-EL's world. I hope your morning is as beautiful as the sun and beauty that this earth has to give us. Y'all be safe. And I'm just going to say, may you have the week you deserve. Because if you get a bad week, pretty much you deserve it. Just as if you have a good week, you deserve it. We all deserve what we get. Put out good energy and everything else is going to go smooth. Till next time.
And this has been the first episode of JOR-EL World. Make sure you like, share, comment. Also hit them up on JOR-EL World on Facebook if you want to be a guest or you want to ask them questions and all that jazz. I don't know. You got an Instagram? You got an Instagram?
Not yet. Everything is in the works.
All right. So
everything will be popping later on.
Just hit them on JOR-EL World. Make sure you like, comment, share, and do all that jazz. Hope everybody enjoyed the episode. Again, this is the first. He's the first person on the roster to go live on a network, so this is major. And maybe we'll be back next Monday. So we're out of here. Hope y'all have a good morning. Hope all y'all BB dubs, lovers, getting ready for the sundress season, because it's about to be coming in July, June.
And if you ain't got your income tax check, don't give it to that nigga. Put it up. Put 500 up. You should have, if you are truly adulting, you should have $500 by. You should still have $500 by the end of the summer. Don't be stupid with the shit. Add to it.
Hey nigga, all the niggas that homeless, throw that dick at her and get that money off her. And
Nah, women getting hit. They don't even, you know what? They don't even care. They'll take it how they take it. Like, fuck it. It is what it is.
And we're out.
What's coming to you? The world, Chico. And everything in it.